welcome to my talk. So this is actually about how to untangle your spaghetti Python pops. Okay. So well, like actually on Tuesday there's a workshop by David about how to use Conda to manage your data science environment, and actually that's kind of be related. I would say I'm just adjusting my webcam because it's a bit weird just seeing half of my face there. So yeah, so well, first of all, I would just have a brief introduction. I'm Cheuk, and hello. And also, I'm involved in a lot of open source projects actually. So I'm very lucky that right now I'm working full time for Terminus DB. You can see the very cute cow there on the right hand side. We are open source graph database that could do revision control. Basically means that you could do all this Git stuff with your data. Okay, so yeah, so if you're interested, talk to me. We are open source. We are open source forever. It'll be free to download and use. So if you have data that you want to store in a graph database, you can chat to me or find me on Twitter. Actually, my contact information is on the first line as well. So you can find me on Twitter and ask me anything. My DM box is open, so you can find me and talk to me. So I also organize a lot of events. So well, this year has been a bit interesting, I would say. So EuroPython happened a few weeks ago, and we'll have PyData Global in the November. So the CFP is extended, so now it's still open. So you can still submit if you have something you want to. We also welcome first-time speakers, so please, this is your last chance to submit to PyData Global. And also there will be Pyjamas Conf. It's a conference that I'm organizing as well. It will be in December. And I will try to talk a little bit more about it tomorrow at the lightning talk. But if you're interested in anything about Pyjamas Conf, the CFP is also open. You can go to pyjamas.live to get all the information, or you can talk to me. Okay. The other thing I'm doing is that I stream online, so I give a lot of online tutorials, and also some Python talk show. So there's a lot of content that I hope is interesting to all the people who use Python. So please, if you're interested, you can also watch me on Twitch. Again, it's free. You may have to watch some advertisement, but that's free. They won't charge you. Please don't worry about paying. Okay, so back to our talk. So okay, all these like spaghetti Python pops. So this is actually what I talk about, like when I talk about spaghetti. This is a comic that is in xkcd. So it's a very popular online comics that they have a lot of jokes about data science or Python or coding stuff. If you'd like, you can watch, read the comics there. And this is one of the episodes. Oh, actually, like some Python Easter egg is also related to xkcd. So it's well known in the Python community. So yeah, this is one of the episodes of the comic. So this is basically, I feel that I totally agree. When I was using Python for a while, you see that, oh my god, like how many Pythons do I have in my computer? Like it's kind of like you install different versions of Python intentionally or unintentionally. You don't know where it got installed because sometimes something just install it for you, or if you follow a workshop or follow a tutorial, you just install things because, well, I want to catch up, I want to follow, and then you install things and you have no idea where to install, and at the end things will become a mess like this, like this spaghetti thing. And the thing is, like, it would actually really trip you up like later. Hello. Oh, you're the moderator. Hello, Joseph. Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, you will be really like struggling. For example, I have been mentoring a workshop, and then someone just like encounter a problem that the pip and the Python is pointing to two different versions. So everything that person pip install doesn't work in the Python. So what should I do? Well, there's actually a trick that some of you may know, that when you install things, to make sure that you're using the same Python, because when you try to use Python, you type Python and then you type things, right? So you can type Python -am pip install, and then that will be installing at the same path of the Python. But still, it's kind of confusing that, well, what if I want to switch between different versions of Python? What should I do? Okay, we're here to help. I'm trying to give you an idea so you won't have such a problem, or if you encounter such problem in the future, you won't be so scared. Okay, so okay, so first of all, I think everybody needs to know is to find where the Python path is, where your Python is installed. So yeah, Yeah, sure. I'm happy to take questions. Thank you. So yeah, like where is my Python? Like, okay, because well, we have to understand something that when we use our computer. So for example, if I type Python in my command line interface, actually what the computer would do is that it will there is some some kind of notes for the computer, right? So it's hidden some notes from you that is saying, okay, if my owner or if my user say Python, it means that this program or this interpreter, or like because Python, the Python that we are using actually is, I would guess the chances are we are using the C Python interpreter. So it's an executable program in your computer that actually could interpret Python. Okay. So when you type Python, so the computer would be like, okay, so what should I do with, what do you mean by this Python? And then the computer will look at the note and then say, okay, so someone told me that, when my user type Python, it means this executable program sitting here in this folder. Okay. So this is your Python path. This is when you type Python, what your computer will do, why your computer know that you're using Python, and where is your Python program sitting. Okay. So the way to find it, if you're using Unix, I put it there because I'm using a Mac. So this is how I do. Like I would type which Python, that it would just tell me. But I guess lots of you are using Windows. So what you can do is that you can check actually if you don't want to use command line. Well, I'm scared of command line. I don't want to use it. You can actually go to open your folders and find whether you have a Python 3.6 or 3H if you're using Python 3.h. In your C drive, or it could be sitting under your user folder. So you have to go to user and then find your name and then app data and then local. Just follow that path and then find it. So double click the screen twice. Is it? No. Yeah, I don't know whether it's like it's only applied for me or something. So yeah. So let me know if I can do anything to help you to read. But yeah, you can follow that path and to find your Python program there. But in the command line, it's more straightforward. If you're using Windows, you can just type where Python, okay? Or if where Python doesn't work for some reason, you can follow the right-hand side there, type, type all those things. I don't like. I know there's changing directory and then like show me, find me something with have spelled similar to Python, but I don't exactly know like the thing because that's Windows. I'm using Mac. So also a sign up for this slides, how to use it, is that anything start with a $sign means that you type it in your command line. Anything that doesn't start with a $sign is mean that maybe it's output from your command line. Okay, so so far so good, I hope. And yeah, so yeah, that's why I recommend you to download the slides. I don't know whether I could, yeah, but I will go back, to the top when I finish my talk, so you can download the slides afterwards. Then you will have all this stuff yourself. Okay, don't worry too much about it right now. So yeah, well, there's two other ways to find like where your packages are sitting. So yeah, so when you actually pip install something, so where does those things sitting? So that's also another thing that we want to care about, because not just where my Python is sitting, it's like where the other things that I pip install are sitting. Because if Python can't find those things, then you can't use them and you can't import them, right? So Python needs to know where all the things that you pip install are sitting. So one thing to do it is to, well, you can see this is the things you can type in the command line. Like I said, you have the $sign in the beginning. You can type that in the command line. But what this is doing basically is just the thing in the green there, actually our Python code. So we are running this Python code to get the information about a particular library. For this case, the example is setup tools. So it's finding where this setup tool is sitting. Okay. So so you can actually like just run those Python code in Python to find out, for example, pandas, or find a request, where are those like sitting. Or you can just like type that in the command line because it's calling Python. Please run this Python code. So that's finding a path of your package. Okay, so that's something that you pip install. So sometimes, you don't pip install stuff because maybe your colleague or your friend write a piece of Python program. It's not uploaded to PyPI, so you didn't pip install it, but it's a piece of different code that you could actually import in your own Python script. Okay. So that would be a module. That would be a module that maybe you have to import. And then like, okay, so where is this module is importing from? You can also run this Python code to find out. Yeah, there's a difference between package and module. Like I said, package usually are the one that you pip install from the PyPI, because it's running the wheel, running the binary, but module would be the one that is, a Python script that you import. So they're slightly different, but it's not that important. But if you're interested, you can go to the link in my slides and look at the article talking about the differences. So yeah, again, the slides are useful. I will show you the link at the very beginning, very end of the talk. Okay. Hey, hi, Jürgen. Hey, hi. Yeah. So, okay. So, well, another way to find out where the thing that you pip install are sitting is to just type pip show. Okay. So this is showing actually where the PyTest is installed. So it's just type pip show PyTest. You will see a lot of information that is actually to come with this package. Because usually those are the information about the package published by the author of the package. So you see the versions, the name and what is this for, who is the author, things like that. I think also the license. So, but the most interesting thing now here is the location. So it's showing you that where this package is installed. So yes, slides will be shared. Don't worry too much. I would give you the link at the end of this tutorial, or maybe I could just give you the link in the chat right now. So that's okay. I can quickly do that. So yeah, that's more convenient, I think. Yeah, for people who want to follow, if the words are too small, because I know it's a little bit too small. So yeah. So like, okay, of course, like some of you are using Anaconda. So like I said, on Tuesday, David gave a tutorial to how to use Conda. But if you missed that, don't worry. I'm just going to briefly talk about that now, so you have an idea. So first of all, Anaconda, if you haven't heard about it, is actually a free and open source distribution of Python and R. So I always think about this as like a gift box with a lot of different things in it, and it's like a gift box to you. So that's Anaconda. So it includes Python and all other things that's useful in data science or scientific computing. Okay. So it's very convenient. That's why people love it, because installing one thing, you're installing a million other things. But some people would, oh no, I want to customize. I only want to download the things that I use. Then you could, download your own Python and do things the other way. But I'm talking about Anaconda here because it's popular and it's free. So yeah, and what comes with Anaconda, what is in this Anaconda gift box is that it has something called Conda, which is a package manager. So a package manager, actually Pip is also a package manager. It's kind of manage, well, your package, like where, like you can run a command to install things. It will keep track of what you have installed, what version you have installed. So that's why it's called a package manager. And so yeah, you can manage your Python environment using Conda. So, well, the example here is that you can use Conda to create a new environment. So you can replace my-env there with whatever name you want, and then you can activate it. And then after you're done, you can deactivate it. Conda has actually a base, which is a default environment there once you have installed it. And so it's just like switching between the base and whatever that you have created. So you can activate and deactivate. What if, like I said, what if I don't want to use Anaconda or Conda, I want to use other things? Well, there are other things available. I'm using PyEnv virtual env. So PyEnv is a tool that lets you switch between different versions of Python. Virtual env is working with PyEnv that you could actually create different virtual environment with different versions of Python. Okay, so I'm using that. I'm familiar with that. It's not the best, but I'm just used to it. VEnv is the package manager that comes with Python, so it's the battery included version of the package manager. So, so actually, everybody who use Python actually should have VEnv. I think it comes after Python 2.5 or something like that. It's already included. So, if you use Python 3, then you definitely have it. If you're using Python 2, why are you still using Python 2? Okay. Also there are other tools. There are pipenv and Portrait. Those are the popular ones. The advantage of those is actually those when you use it, well, it would also check whether you have compatibility issues. Build out. Oh, I've never heard about that. So maybe in the chat you can tell us more about it later. So yeah, those two actually, it would check whether, for example, if I have two libraries, library A and library B, and library A requires a library C that needs to be greater than or equals to 1.2, and library B requires library C to be, for whatever reason, less than 1.4. Well, then Poetry or pipenv will know that, okay, only library C 1.3 is valid. So yeah, I will install that for you. So so that's yeah, well, before Pip. Oh wow, okay, that's very, very old. Yeah. So yeah, so those are the environments manager that you could use. For this talk, I think I won't go too much about the other. I will focus on Conda and VN. Hi, Malin. Hi. Oh, hi, Huawei. Hey, I have friends coming in. Great. Yeah, love it. And so yeah, why are we using those things? Like, why do we have to install extra things on our Python? I'm just using Python. Why am I doing extra stuff to do this? Well, that's really, really good reason. Because I can tell you about my own experience. Like, well, you have a piece of code at work. Like, I remember when I was working as a data scientist, I would write a piece of code, right? Like, okay, do this, clean the data, and then run some machine learning things. Okay, it works. Put it aside for a few months, and then come back in, and it's like, okay, I want to use this code again. It doesn't work. What happened? Well, I got some like kind of error, like message from pandas, because, well, basically when I write the code before, I was using a version of pandas that's old, and well, it works, but when I pick it up after a few months or the next year, then the version of pandas that I'm using does not support that anymore because I've updated it, and oops, yeah. Or if you copy some code online and or your colleague gives you some code, then, well, it does not work. It's the same reason that the version that you're using are not the same. So yeah, so usually the habit is that we would create a requirements.txt to kind of pinpoint, pip. We do a Pip Freeze, if you didn't know. So if you type Pip Freeze, and then it will just show everything that you have with the version. And then you can pipe it into a text file called requirements.txt. And then you can also give that to whoever you're giving your code with. Say like, hey, my code work in this environment. But then you have a question. If you don't have an environment manager, okay, I will install those. But then maybe there's incompatibility that you update it works with this piece of code that you get, but it doesn't work with the other code that you have written. So no, it's a big no. Okay, so that's not good. We don't want that. And yeah, again, like, it works on my computer, well, because people are using different versions. So nope. And well, yeah, that's the crazy thing that I think there's some typo there, but I'll just explain. So what happened is, like, like I said, for this project, I need the version, the older version of pandas. For this new project, I need newer version of pandas. How can I go switch? Like, do I have to install and uninstall my pandas every time if I switch between those two scripts or two projects? That's crazy. I don't want to do that. That's making me very, very mad. So what we can do is that we could use the environment manager to help us. So like I said, I'll focus on like Conda, because Anaconda is popular and people may have it, so if you are using Conda, you will have it. And yeah. Yeah, Conda got its own drawback as well. Yeah, system Python to install it. Yeah, well, I think, yeah, because, well, there's some love and hate with Condas, because, well, Conda is easy for people who just want to do things quickly, like they do. Like, if Anaconda is providing everything that they need, they will happily use Conda, or like because they don't have to mess with too customized things. But if you want to customize your Python build or your Python environment build, then you better use something else. And I'm also giving you, like, on the left hand side is Conda, on the right hand side is actually VM. So VM, again, everybody should have it. If you have Python, you should have it, and then you could basically just use VM. So I won't go into detail here about like all this code because, well, I just want you to try. So the first two boxes actually is like how to create an environment. So you can try those. So all of them, I forgot to put the $sign, but all of them, like you could do it in your command line interface. So the second two boxes will be how to activate your environment, and then you would go to your Python terminal and to see if you can import pandas. So I'm just assuming that because Panda is so popular that everybody would already have pandas. So now you create a new environment, and then now you should actually see that you can't import pandas anymore because you create a new environment that is brand new. You don't have anything. You don't have the things that you used to have. Or you can import something that you have in your other environment. It doesn't need to be pandas, but you can see that actually you don't have anything now because you just create a new environment and you're activating it. So you're in that environment right now. So what you can do is that after you have tested, you exit the Python, and then now you install whatever you need. Then you would be able to pip install it again. Now you be able to import it again because now you're installing this, for example, pandas in your new environment, and now you can import it again. So yeah, there's another example there that is like try to install Terminus DB clients, which is my library. That's why I was like, I'm just betting that none of you will have it. So you can just test it out, install it, and then now you can import it in your environment. But when you deactivate your environment, you won't be able to import it anymore because you know it's only in the environment. So that's why it's powerful that you have different environments that basically you can customize each one of them. So it's like, you know, you have different cars, you customize them, you know. I like games, so if maybe like you're in a racing game, so for each round when you play the game, you can customize your car before you race. So it's kind of like that, you know, you can have different environment and customize the build before you start working on your project. And when you're done, you can just like save and quit, you know, just deactivate. And the next time you want to use that environment again, you can activate it again. So that's really cool. That's really good. It's very like, I'm not an organized person, but I still love it. It's more organized. It will be like less prone to problems that I told you before. So yeah, so far, do you have any questions? And because I still have like 2 more slides just for like advertisements for my future events and what's going on that you could join. But yeah, someone loved Conda. Yeah, David. Yes, I know you have the workshop on Tuesday, and yeah, that's really good. Yes. Yeah, so Conda Live VM. So functionally, they're both environment managers that you could activate them. You know, you could create a new environment. You can activate it. It will be isolated, and you can install stuff. And then after that, you can deactivate it. Of course, under the hood is different because, well, there are 2 different tools that they're using different methods internally to achieve these operations. But as a user, basically they feel very similar. But people may prefer one over the other. For example, my experience is that I'm using a PyEnv, virtual env, and then, you know, for one contribution that I install Conda because it was recommended. And then the Conda doesn't like VM virtual env. They kind of fight with each other. And it's like, I want to manage you. It's like, no, I want to manage you. It's like, oh my God, like, and it really messes things up. So I have to uninstall Conda because of that. Because it's like, you know, you already have a dog and then you kind of adopt another dog, but they don't like each other. So, oh, sorry, I have to find a new home for my new dog. So yeah, so kind of like that. So yeah, sometimes you have to pick, yeah, which one do you want to use. And in most cases, you don't need more than one. So yeah. If there isn't any questions, I will just give some shameless advertisement at the end. So first of all, we have our data workshop with PyCon Africa this Sunday. So yeah, so it's a full day workshop. So that's why we asked the organizer whether we can have it on Sunday. Then, you know, people can enjoy all the goodness of PyCon Africa, and then they can still, you know, attend the workshop if they want to. So yeah, it's actually like the sign up is already done. We already, you know, get all the applications, and all the applications are already confirmed. But we may have more in the future. So if you really want to know about whether we will be running another workshop or whether we will be recruiting mentors again, you can follow us on Twitter, or you can look at our website, humbledata.org. Yeah, and oops, another shameless advertisement is that, again, I'm running Twitch tutorials online. Every Sunday I'll have a tutorial for beginners. Well, sometimes we touch on some not so beginners topic, but the idea is that it's for people who is safe. You can ask anything, because I'm not very senior. I won't say I'm very senior in Python, but I'm also learning. We learn together. We explore different topics in Python. And also, I'll have Meet Pi, which is a talk show. We invite people from the Python community, and we will, have a chat and talk about what's going on in the Python community. So yeah, follow me on Twitch, and you have more Python content. So, like I promised, I will go back to the first slide, so you have the link to the slide, so you can follow the exercise. So yeah, I think that's my talk.